Yes, to his family. I'm very sorry, and I hope that one day that you can find it in your hearts to forgive me. That's it.
All right, Ms. Paschal, I will remind you of a couple of things. First and foremost, did you execute the violent offender database form?
She's going to sign it right now, Judge.
All right.
Go ahead and sign right there. She signed the form, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Now, I know that you've gone over this form with your attorneys, but I am still going to read it into the record so you are fully aware of your responsibilities. You have been convicted or pled guilty to a qualifying violent offender offense as defined by the Ohio Revised Code. Since you will be sentenced to a prison term, you must enroll in the database personally with the sheriff of the county in which you reside 10 days after your release. You are required to provide to the sheriff certain information, which includes your full name and any aliases you use, your residence, your social security number, any driver's license number or CDL number or state identification number, information regarding the offense of which you have been convicted, and the name and address of any place where you are employed, the name and address of any school or institution of education that you attend, the license plate number of any vehicle owned or operated by you or registered in your name, the vehicle information of that vehicle, and any description of that vehicle, a description of any scars, tattoos, or other distinguishing marks on your person. You are required to provide the sheriff fingerprints and palm prints. The sheriff will also obtain a photograph of you at the time of your enrollment. After the date of your initial enrollment, you are required to re-enroll annually. You must update and/or amend any of the information described above that has changed and provide any additional information requested at the county sheriff's office within 10 days of the anniversary of the calendar date on which you were initially enrolled. If you change your residence address during the 10-year enrollment period, you must provide written notice of that change to the sheriff with whom you most recently enrolled, and to the sheriff in the county in which you intend to reside within 3 days of the change of address. You are required to comply with all of these requirements for a period of 10 years after any release, unless your sentencing court determines otherwise. Your expected residence address would be Summit County, therefore you shall enroll upon release to the sheriff's office located at 205 East Crozier Street. Ms. Paschal, failure to enroll or failure to verify any residence at the specified times will result in a criminal prosecution. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. In addition, I will remind you that you do have certain appellate rights. They are limited because you did enter into a plea in this matter. However, if you wish to file an appeal, you must do that within 30 days of today, which is your sentencing date. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You will be entitled to jail time credit. That number I do not have for you at this point, but it will be reflected in your journal entry. You must pay attention to that when you receive that. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
During your time at the Ohio Reformatory for Women, you shall not use any drugs, alcohol, or illicit substances, and you may be subject to random testing for that while you're incarcerated. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you to the family for being here, for Mrs. Paschal's family, for Mr. Morgan's family for being here throughout all these processes. I'm fully aware of how much support Mr. Morgan had in the community, not just professionally, but certainly familially. I think every one of you have been at every court proceeding. It just shows what a important person he was in your life. There's nothing that the court can do to make this better, to make this okay, to make this any easier. I will say that the avoidance of a trial is a benefit to everyone because it is an extremely traumatic experience for everyone involved. And there would be images and things that you would have to see that you could never unsee. And so I appreciate Ms. Paschal for taking responsibility for this and making it so that the family does not have to go through any additional trauma based on the actions that occurred back in April of 2023. Based on the facts and circumstances in consideration of all relevant sentencing factors, applying the minimum sanction the court has determined will protect the public, yet also punish the offender. and not provide any unnecessary burden on state or local resources. A period of incarceration is certainly necessary due to the nature of the offense and the loss that's suffered by all of the victims in this matter. I'm sentencing you to a period of 20 years to life on count 1, aggravated murder and unclassified felony. In addition, that sentence will run consecutive to the 3-year firearm specification, which is attached to that count 1. That firearm specification 3-year sentence must be served first, it must be consecutive, and it is in fact mandatory. This will make you eligible for parole, which there's no guarantee of that, at the earliest at 23 years, but you could serve up to life in prison for this matter. Do you understand all of that, Ms. Paschal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I will reiterate that the parties did reach this joint recommendation, and it was provided to the court prior to the acceptance of the plea, and it was, I would say, poured over by many of the people involved. So I am following that for all of those reasons. Did I forget anything on behalf of the state?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
On behalf of the defense?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. At this time, I'm going to execute the violent offender database form, and we will file that and have it made part of the record. Thank you, everyone.